So just a couple of minutes now to the start of the lightweight women's quadruple sculls. Again, another international final, which brings together the crews of Canada, Germany, China, Great Britain, Denmark and the United States. The champions were Canada a year ago. The world's best time belongs to China. On lane one, on the far side, it's the United States of America. Lane two, Denmark, with three of last year's silver medal winning crew. For Great Britain, Sophie Hoskins in the stroke seat. Here are the Chinese with 15-year-old Fan Yufei. We'll try and pick her out for you in the three seat, sitting behind the stroke. Germany in lane number 5, and closest to you, Canada in lane 6.
Attention.
Clean start, good start.
Now the Chinese really looking for them to see what they can do. They set the new world best time here of 6:29.87. So that evidence tells you that they should be competitive and even vying for the gold medal. But Denmark there, useful crew, experienced crew, coxed by Julian Rasmussen. And this will be an interesting performance. The Danes, who've yet to strike gold at this regatta.
Indeed, but this Chinese crew is evidence of the strength and depth of the program in China. It's not an Olympic boat class, we were just discussing that, but still they've got a very strong crew here, as we've seen from their world best time in the heats. So the expectation is that two of these will be looked at for a double scull, or maybe one of these will go up into a double scull, which is part of the Olympic program. But right now they've got business at hand, which is to maintain this lead of half a length with lane 2 Denmark and lane 5 Germany sandwiching them, and Great Britain, sadly, although they're in a pole position, lane 3, expecting to do well in this final, now back in 4th or 5th.
And there are the Chinese in the stroke seat there. 18-year-old Liu Jing from Shandong, sitting behind her Fan Yufei, or Zhufei, just 15 years of age, from Zhejiang. Then Chen Haixie in the 3 seat from Guangzhou, and from Beijing, Yu Hua. And it's that quartet at the moment who've already taken the scruff of the race in the first quarter.
The reason they've done it is that absolute perfection of togetherness. None of them, not a single one of them, is a great sculler on her own, but separated, put together, and putting the blades in together, applying the work together, getting over the water and sculling this thing along. Very lovely, elastic movement. It's proving its worth.
Denmark over on the far side in lane 2, closest to Germany. And again, this is a really new crew. They're all in their early 20s, 2021, and at the moment just solidifying second place, well, vying for Denmark for second place. The angle's actually clear enough now to say that Denmark by half a length.
Oh, I think definitely from the line of boys, you can see the white boys going across the course. They are in a straight line, and Denmark leads Germany in lane 5 by half a length, with Great Britain in lane 3 just beginning to show an interest in this race. They're up from 5th to 4th and beginning to push back on Germany and close ever so slightly on Denmark. But Germany fading a little bit against Denmark, and they should be looking to their right and looking to the approaching British in lane 3. But out of sight, China, you can just see that line of black water. That's where China were. Crossing the line halfway, 3:09.77. Quite a quick time, in possibility for
a new best time.
A new best time.
Indeed. So China really making this hurt for themselves, but more importantly for their opponents now. And you sense there's such a determination in that Chinese boat that they really aren't going to let this go. 40 strokes a minute for China. For China, with Denmark chasing hard, and Denmark in second place, and at the moment making second place their own. They're travelling at about 3/4 of a second slower than the Chinese. Then Germany 1:38.55 for the second quarter. Great Britain 1:38.03, which reflects.
And Great Britain come through Germany now. Absolutely.
Yeah, it reflects the progress that they were making in that second quarter. It's often the middle thousand which matters most, and this is where Sophie Hoskins sitting behind her at 2, Hester Goodsell, Durham and Rob Roy, then Lindsay Dick, another Scot like Sophie Hoskin, member of Glasgow Rowing Club, in the 2-seat, and in the bow it's Laura Ralston, like Hester Goodsell from the Rob Roy Boat Club.
Although the Rob Roy sounds Scots, it's actually English, and although the Scots row for a club that sounds English, they're actually Scots. So it's a nice little confusion that. But they are doing what they should have been doing in the first 1,000. They're now doing with some efficiency, and that begins to look like a real crew. 36.5 strokes a minute. 1, 2, 3.5 lengths adrift of China in first place, 6 seconds back, but beginning to move and closing a little bit on Denmark.
And of course this is the lightweight quadruple sculls, and out of these crews may well come athletes who will vie for a place in the Olympic lightweight women's double scull given time,
which we will see later on today. And Jane Hall and Helen Casey will be looking at this crew to see whether there's somebody challenging them for their places. Well, these are all very young, whereas Hall and Casey are towards the twilight end of their careers. But Sophie Hosking in the stroke seat, just 20, and so there's a lot to play for from this crew, which is closing on Denmark, but I think unlikely in the 300 metres left to take that lead for silver medal.
Yeah, the British crew, they'll have eyes on perhaps Beijing, but more realistically on 2012. But it is China who've been magnificent. They've been terrific. They've taken this race from the very first stroke in the water, and they've taken it away, and they're going to win this with some command over Denmark, who've never really been able to get a blow into them, and Great Britain, who are solidly in third place, and there's an awful lot of open water between the front 3 crews and the rest. And China looking as they come towards the line. Remember, they set a world best time of 6:29.24, and it's 6:23.80, and it is a new world best time in taking the gold. Denmark take the silver, and Great Britain cross the line in bronze. And look at the gap. Well, I can tell you now, Germany just coming across the line ahead of the United States. And this was tough for Canada. They finish in 6th place.
Denmark just outside the old world best time, but still 4 seconds adrift of the winners. That's the margin of improvement. They were at 40 strokes a minute, China, for a lot of that. 37 was their race pace, and they were ignoring what was going on behind them. They were just setting out for a record and setting their own satisfaction of a really good result. And that was an excellent world-class race.